Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Alpine F1 Manager career mode. In this episode, have a regulation change that we can vote on. So, they're proposing a new minor technical regulation for 2023. These regulations will impact areas of a car that focus on aerodynamics, the focus on reducing overall downforce generated, and maximum cornering speed. Please review the proposed changes below before voting. So low speed or high speed downforce changes. So if they change, where are we lowest? So it's high speed, low speed. So low speed is the one where we're the most screwed at, but high speed is something where we're good at. So I think we're gonna vote low speed in the regulation. So those will change, and that'll hurt everyone that is better than us, I believe. So we're gonna vote, and response is sent. We have review of the race, a great race. Our confidence in you as a leader has most certainly increased. Keep up the great work. Sweet. Post-race debrief. Oh, that's right. So we had the accident at the end of the last episode, I believe. Yep, we need to manufacture another chassis. So we've got Imola in 11 days. I'm gonna try to find the other part. I think it was a front wing that we broke. Okay, we have a front wing. What's the part that potentially got screwed here? Okay, we have a new rear wing on the car. We need to manufacture this as well. But I think it's the most urgent thing that we need to build at the moment, if any. Okay, so we're gonna build I think we're gonna build just one rear wing, but we're gonna rush it. Can we build two? Alright, so it's going to take 4 days total to do that. How long is it going to take us to do the chassis? So to manufacture a chassis, rushing it, it's going to take 5 days per. So I think we're going to manufacture a chassis, and then we're going to try to fit in the 2 rear wings. Alright, so looking at the manufacturing screen, we're actually going to be able to get these rear wings manufactured before the race, and we don't have to rush it. So we're going to do that just so we're being a little bit more insightful with our resources. So we are going to go forward and continue. Got our tour center upgrade. We're going to see what that has done. It's going to help our income and increase our monthly upkeep. How much to upgrade it again? We're just going to upgrade it again, because it's only, $500,000, and it's going to help our income. So we have built that. We're going to see what we have here. We got the manufacturing complete. It looks like we have some scouting done as well. Sweet. So we have scouting on both Ricardo and Gasly. So that means we're going to have 2 slots open here to make a decision with scouting. But let's go check out Ricardo's profile. So Ricardo is 84 overall. He's down compared to Fernando Alonso. His lowest stat is defending, which is, he's got very well balanced stats here. Nothing that's really terrible. He's got a year left on his contract, so we should, potentially have an option to talk to him at the end of the year. Or no, the end contract date. Okay, so he's got to the end of next year, so we'd have to buy him out of this contract for a lot of money, potentially. Okay, so let's go take a look at Pierre Gasly. So Gasly, his stats, he's, I think he's better overall than Ricardo, because he's just average. Which is cool. I didn't realize. I haven't seen that yet with aggression being average. So his lowest stat is defending, but he seems a little bit more back and forth on a couple different stats. So I think Gasly, especially with him being French, would be a good option for us to look at. His contract ends... Wait, where's the contract end? Okay, so his contract ends the end of this year, so we're going to have an opportunity to talk with him potentially. So I think we are going to save Pierre Gasly, and we're going to look at him for later, maybe near the end of the year when we're deciding who we want to put in this car. But we're also going to look at some drivers to scout coming up. So potentially another driver to look at who be good for us would be actually an improvement over Alonso, at least on the basic rating side, would be Lando Norris. So we can actually do a detailed scout on him. We got 3 scouts available, so we're going to send one after him. We're going to go detailed just so we get all the information, including his contract. So driver number 2 that we can scout here, this is more just kind of throwing it out here, different people that we could potentially look at. We could look at Russell. I don't think we could get him, especially with his negotiation attitude being so low. But we could at least just scout him to kind of see, what it would take to kind of get him to the team and potentially maybe consider him for the seat next year. So the final driver, I actually wasn't prepared to scout, but I didn't realize I had 3 scouts available, is Carlos Sainz. He could potentially be someone we can look at here, getting a return to Alpine, because he used to drive for the team when it was with Renault. So we're going to give him a detailed scout, just kind of get some information on him. He is a little bit older compared to Russell and to Norris, but still could be a good driver as the highest one, or highest rated one that we've looked at so far. So we're going to give him a detailed scout. Okay, so back at the inbox, last thing here was the chassis being manufactured, so that's good to see. We're going to hit continue, and we're going to see what else pops up before the race weekend. We have a design complete for the underfloor. We also have our manufacturing complete for the rear wing. So does that mean we have all... So we get 4 in the warehouse for the rear wing, so that's good. And we have the underfloor ready to go, so we're going to try to manufacture 1 or 2 for the weekend. Alright, so I just spent a little bit of time looking, and we can rush 1 to be done for the race, but it says 5 days, which is the start of the Grand Prix. So we are just going to do a normal build of 4 of these, and we should have all of these parts available to put on the car or at least 3 of them ready for the car next week, I believe, when we go to Monaco. Just a slight correction, I said Monaco. Our next race is at the Miami Grand Prix, but we're going to move forward. We've got... Okay, we have the regulation changes, and we have car part research unlocked, so that is interesting. Let's look at this screen. So we have minor technical changes to all of these parts next year. So I think the most important one to look at, if we could show... It won't show us kind of what our... it won't show us where we are in comparative... comparing ourselves to the other teams, but we're going to look at an underfloor research project. We have 10 days left, and I think we're going to just say screw it here. We're going to max all of this out to potentially get something going, because if the ATR period expires, yeah, so I think we're going to just... maybe we'll just cut this in half, because we got a maybe a part that we could build in the meantime. But we'll give this 1 hours of CFD, and then we're going to give it 16 hours of wind tunnel, and that'll be our research. We are going to focus on our low speed a little bit, and then we are going to focus on our medium speed just a little bit, and then that will be our car, or our research for the underfloor next year. And we're gonna set this to... I don't think this matters too much in this grand scheme of things, so we're only gonna put 2 engineers on this, so this will be done in 73 days. Right, so this is the rule change, a minor technical change. We how did we vote against? Did we vote against this? We voted against this, but it went through. So this is going to hurt high speed, which is an area that we were pretty good at. It's going to hurt medium speed, and then it's also going to hurt low speed. So it's going to change a lot of stuff here, but low speed is the one that we had the most problem with, and that's only going to go down a little bit, so that's going to hurt us. And then high speed was the one that we had the greatest advantage on, so that's also going to hurt us as well. So slightly disappointing to see, but we've not really experienced this kind of stuff yet. We've not gone through a whole development cycle, so we will see how this is going to turn out. Got Fred Gill giving a an up-and-coming driver, Oliver Behrman. Got stuff about this weekend, but we're going to move on to the race tab, and we're going to work on our performance targets. All right, so we've gone through, looked at the performance target stuff. Only thing we added was the 2 cars in the top 15. We need to reach Q3 with 1 car, and then have 1 car finish in the top 8. And then we broke the streak with the crash that Ocon had last week. So we're now 2 weeks behind on potentially getting that 2.6 million in the bank. But we're gonna move on to Imola. All right, so heading into practice, we're flipping Duhan between the 2 cars throughout the whole season. He did a good job winning the F2 feature race at Spa-Francorchamps, so good to see there for him. Yeah, so it's Ocon's turn to get out of the car and let him into the seat, and we're gonna work through the hard tire, and we're going to skip through practice. Alright, so we are going to show the practice results because we had some things that happened. So looking at the first practice, you see that we have Fernando Alonso on top. We gave him a kind of a low fuel run on the soft tires. I'm trying to figure out how the tire allocations work for practice. It says you have to return 2 sets. So I'm just trying to figure out, if it's mandatory, you have to give back soft or something. So that's something to kind of keep your eye on if you're playing, to kind of see what tires get taken away by the FIA. But things that happened in this practice session is we had Sergio Perez crash, and we also had Jack Duhan crash. So I will insert a clip of both of those.
Here's the replay. So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez. Oh, a nasty crash there. Let's have a look. Okay, so there we have the Alpine. That crash is terrible news for the team.
So Perez's crash, he was able to carry on throughout the practice session, but you can see here it heavily affected how many laps he was able to do. And Jack Duhan, it actually knocked him out of the practice session. Looking at practice 2, we had Alonso in 2nd. We had Ocon all the way down into 12th. We had Russell and one of the Aston Martins. I'm not quite sure. It looks like it's Stroll, actually, who were involved in an accident. I'll insert a clip of that now.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now let's look at this. Here's George Russell. And there's the collision.
It's a tough break for them, but that was about it for practice 2. And then practice 3, we had a low fuel run at the end with Alonso. We got 100% setup on his car, and he was actually able to go top the board in practice 3, but we're going to move on to qualifying.
How's the radio on track?
Loud and clear.
And green light.
Alright, so we are sending out Alonso on his final run here. We're 4th and 6th, so we should be safe through, but we're still sending both cars out for a run here to hopefully end up in a good position, but we're catching traffic. So it looks like, oh no, we had the Mercedes hold us up here, so it looks like we're in a bad position here with both cars. Maybe sent them out a little too early, getting caught up in the traffic here. They've got both. That's a bit of a problem with this game, is you got to really, really watch out your traffic management. That seems to be a thing that's kind of catching us out pretty often here as I'm learning how to play this game and kind of failing on that front. But Ocon crosses the line, doesn't improve, and Alonso crosses the line and doesn't improve. But we're going to jump onto the track map. We're going to go 4 or 8 times speed, and we're going to see where we end up.
Copy that. Nice job, mate.
All right, let's see where everyone else finishes here. We are going to end up 7th and 8th. So just confirmation, we are 7th and 8th. Bottom of the grid is Schumacher, Albon, Vettel, Stroll, and Latifi. And Stroll actually has a grid penalty for this race, so that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we can now. We can now. Radio check.
Loud and clear.
Alright, so we're going to send both cars out on a brand new set of tires. We actually had them go out the first time and do 2 flying laps with a cooldown lap in between, just to kind of get some laps in and save a set of tires. But we're going to jump on board later on in the lap when they actually start their flying laps. Alright, so we're going to ride on board with Ocon here, since Ocon is the lowest one down at the moment. We're going to actually put his times up, and we're going to see what he's able to do compared to everyone else. So he's got fresh tires. He should be going out. He should be setting a really, really good time here. Let's see what he does in his first sector. He goes to 23.6, so he's up his first sector. We're very close to the cutoff here. He needs to go up his second sector. Let's see what he can do. He is going to go 26.6. He's also up again. All right. Let's see what happens here in the final sector. We're going to see where he ends up compared to the field. Bottas goes 0.6 down. We move down a spot, but where does Ocon go across the line? He goes to 9th. Got to wait for the people behind us. I'm worried about Joe. Joe crosses the line, does not pass us. Where does Gasly go? Gasly goes 10th, and we are just barely through in 9th position with Ocon. So we are 6th and 9th. We got both cars into Q3. This is your 5 cars eliminated. You have Zhou Guanyu, Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda, and Kevin Magnussen.
Okay, radio check.
Yeah, radio check.
Alright, so riding on board with Ocon here. So he's going to be starting his flying laps here. So we did our first ones. We were 5th and 7th. Sent them out maybe a little bit early, but hopefully we should have a full, clean track for both cars. Looks like Alonso's got a full clear track. We got a yellow flag, Sector 1. Might have a replay pop up of what that is supposed to be. Hamilton runs wide, so that might give us an opportunity to jump ahead of him with Alonso. Alonso's going to be coming up here to finish his lap. Oh, he's heading to the garage. That we set him out to do a whole lap here. So we go 5th and 7th. Something happened with Alonso where Alonso wasn't allowed to finish his lap. Was he? Huh. So looking at your results here, I was a bit confused with Alonso. I think potentially he hit the line, and he hit the line before it went to 0, so it didn't show that he had finished the session. He was just heading to the garage, which just was a minor thing that confused me there. Ocon goes 9th, so we are 6th and 9th. Your starting grid is Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Perez, Hamilton, Alonso, Russell, Bottas, Ocon, Gasly, Zhou, Norris, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Schumacher, Albon, Vettel, and then Lance Stroll starts in the back with a penalty. Lance Stroll in 19th place, and then Nicholas Latifi starts last, but I think Stroll will start last with the penalty.
Drivers are strapping themselves in, ready for race day.
Alpine demonstrated a lot of grit during qualifying here, and will be hoping that the hard work pays off when it comes to the race. We saw a reasonable push from Mercedes in qualifying, and they'll have plenty of opportunities here to achieve a great result. And the weather is sunny here today, apart from a few clouds. Let's hope they remain scattered on the horizon.
Meanwhile, in the grandstands, the red wave is swelling. So let's find out who wins the day, here at Imola.
so we are getting ready for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. We're going to just do a flip-flop strategy. We're going to start one car on one set. We're going to start the other on the other. So we're going to do a push onto mediums, have them go really, really hard until we can get to the hard compounds of tire. We can't go... Actually, we could probably go hard onto medium, so I'm going to... Or hard onto soft. So we're going to go look at that for Ocon real quick for his strategy here. So we're going to have him actually go onto the soft tire here, and let's see how far we can get that to go in. So yeah, it looks like Ocon's going to be able to go onto the soft tire. I am not confident with where Alonso is to put him on anything other than the medium tire. So we're going to go aggressive with Ocon. We're going to let Alonso run the medium tire, but we are going to move on to the race.
I hope I'm not tempting fate here, but there are quite a few clouds overhead as we look at the lineup on the grid. Looking at Fernando Alonso here. A top 10 position today, but will they be able to capitalize on it? Further back, we've got Esteban Ocon. They might not be in the top 3 spots, but things could change fast once the race gets underway. The teams are ready to go. The crowd are on their feet in anticipation of this, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Right, so we have Alonso off the line. It looks like he's actually off the line fairly slow. We're able to keep one of the Alfa Romeos behind us into the first corner. So we're doing good there. Ocon stays a solid 9th place where he qualified. So our hope here is to kind of hang tight, wait until the DRS is activated, hold on to Hamilton's rear bumper, and hopefully just kind of carry in and stay around those top guys this entire race. Ocon has the benefit of Russell ahead of him to kind of latch on to potentially here when the DRS gets enabled. But we are just going to go here, and we're going to skip through just for a tiny bit until the DRS is enabled.
DRS enabled.
We got a caution. Looks like Stroll had an issue. We're going to go 2 times speed here, and we're going to jump on board. So Alonso has... Yeah, we had a lock up for Stroll. We're not going to show that. Alright, so we're going to let Alonso hold on here, and hopefully actually... We're going to actually have him overtake to hopefully slingshot and catch Verstappen here. We're going to also put Ocon on overtake just to kind of see what he can do here. Alright, so Hamilton is able to hold with Perez. So we're just going to hold this overtake for a minute here. We're going to keep them on pushing on the tires. Let them abuse them a little bit because we have a wear to burn with Fernando. Alright, Hamilton is just outside of a second, but if we can get the DRS here, hold close, we can maybe slingshot past Hamilton here. Alright, we got like 1 shot to do this, and we have fast forwarded through it. But we get the fastest lap with Fernando. But we're going to actually have him go onto neutral now because we have... yeah, we've used up our ERS here.
That's a good overtake from Alpine.
Alright, we're going to actually have him harvest, and we're going to have Ocon just hold neutral for a bit. Ocon is in 7th. We're actually going to have Ocon harvest, and we're going to ride on board with him for a lap or 2. Gotta see what he's doing here. We're going to look at the rear bumper cam. So we need him to gain on the cars behind. So they're going to have the DRS here. But we need to save ERS, so we're going to just keep saving. Even if that means that we're going to get overtaken here. So with us holding the ERS in harvest mode, we're actually going to be able to kind of save our stuff for a minute, and then we're going to be able to push and gap Bottas, which is what I really, really want to do here. But we're going to let him get close at first. Alright, we're going to let Alonso go into neutral just so he can kind of hang on to Hamilton a little bit better. Hamilton's caught on to Perez, and they're starting to gap. So that is good to see for us. We're still harvesting with Ocon here. Alright, Ocon gets passed by Bottas. Hopefully he doesn't also get passed by Russell. He does not, but he's going to have the DRS here to kind of use it to his advantage. And we're actually just going to go 16 times speed. We're going to wait until he's pretty good here. Alright, we're going to just hold. I know we're going to lose positions here. Alright, so we're going to go into neutral. We're going to ride on board with Ocon here.
Mercedes moved up a place.
Just got to hold on until we hit the DRS. And then we're going to go on to overtake. And hopefully be able to pass both of them. Go on to neutral. Wait until we get into a sector where we can use it. And then be able to gap Bottas by a second. Gotta use this overtake up. Alright, so we're gonna go on to neutral now. I think Russell getting by Bottas is not gonna be beneficial for us. So Alonso's still holding on to Hamilton here. And I'm actually going to go on board with him here. We're going to actually put him on overtake on this straightaway and have him overtake Hamilton, hopefully. But we also need to watch out here for Mr. Ocon, who we're also going to put onto overtake. And hopefully we can see Alonso maybe pass Hamilton here. No, okay, so we're going to have him just go on to neutral. Alright, so now we really need to get by Bottas. We need to be able to get to the back bumper of Russell and be able to hang with him here. We're getting a hell of a defense here from Bottas. We really need to get by him here. We're going to look on the outside. We're going to back out a little bit. We're losing time here to Russell. So we're just going to keep that on that overtake here. And hopefully use that slingshot to get by him on this front straightaway here. But he's going to have DRS as well. Oh, this is so frustrating. Alright, so it looks like we're in a bit of a DRS train now. It looks like he's able to stick with him. So we're going to just hold conserve on the DRS and just see what we can do here. We had a yellow flag in Sector 1. Might be Stroll or Latifi, one of the two of them.
I think someone's run wide.
Oh, Zhou. Okay. Alright, Ocon still able to hold with the boys up here. We're just going to let him go there. Keep an eye on Alonso, who has a very nice look at the back bumper of Lewis Hamilton. What are they all doing on tires? Okay, so we're all in the mediums or the hards. Okay.
Alpine just advanced.
So Ocon got by Bottas, so we're going to go on board with him now. See what he's got ahead of him. So we have the potential here. I might just let him do it once, and we're going to see if we can do it. But we're going to try to overtake and then deploy to get by Russell here. So we're going to go on to overtake now. Hopefully he can get by him. And then if we get by him, we're going to go on deploy as... Oh my god. Nope. Alright, so we're going to go back on to neutral here. Got some sort of yellow flag.
They've locked up and gone straight on.
Alright, so Magnussen went straight on the lockup. What's Ocon doing? Ocon's still hanging. Alright, so we're going to wait until he hits the final sector, and then we're going to do the same thing that we've done the last couple times, so we can hopefully get out of this DRS train here. So we're going to put him onto overtake. Here, and we're going to see if he can get by George, and he will. And now it's time to go on to deploy, and then have him go hard on the fuel. And then hopefully push outside of the window, and he does. So we're going to jump on board with him and kind of have the wonderful news of being able to gap Mr. George Russell there. And we're going to use our ERS up to do this. We're going to let him use it one more time exiting this corner here. Alright, and then we're going to go on to neutral. But we're going to go on to balanced, and then we're going to let him continue to push on the tires. Alright, so we're going to jump on board with Fernando Alonso as Ocon gets the fastest lap of the race. So Alonso's sitting pretty here, just kind of hanging on with the cars ahead. Stroll running wide in turn 11. Yeah, just trying to keep an eye on what we can do here. Yeah, I don't see any reason for us to attack Hamilton and Perez up until they probably pit. So we're just going to let this fast forward for a little bit here. We're going to keep an eye on Russell and Ocon. We're gapping Russell fairly easily, so that's fantastic to see.
We've just had a car run wide.
Vettel ran wide. Did Ocon run wide? Oh, he did run wide. Oh my god.
They've gone wide.
Are you kidding me? Dude, come on.
Now have a watch of this. Looks like Ocon. And they've gone...
It's all that work that we put in, and now we don't have any ERS to frickin' do anything with. So we're just going to let him harvest here, and then he's going to fall into the back of these guys. Enter the pit window. Alright, Alonso is in a position to where we can just... We don't have any DRS help. So we're just going to go long here with Alonso. Alright, so his ERS is fully charged. Ocon's is. We are now behind Russell by almost 2 seconds. So we're going to jump on board with him, and we're going to see if we can catch up to Mr. George Russell with a little bit of a push. And Russell has caught a Leclerc, so that's part of the reason why he's able to gap so quickly. But we need to break the toe of Bottas as well. If we're able to do that, it'd be very beneficial. So Hamilton gets by him. Is he on brand new tires? It's important to see. No, he's on old tires. So we're going to be able to hang on here with Alonso. So this is good for Alonso to be able to just kind of hang on here. But we're going to deploy to hopefully break Bottas. Alright, so this is the optimal lap for us to pit here. We are not going to do so. We're going to go on a neutral with Mr. Ocon. We're going to look at Alonso here. Is he going to be able to pass Hamilton? Doesn't really matter. Just need a DRS train here. We'll be able to gain a whole bunch of time. We're going to let him go. You know, we're going to let him attack here. And and then we're going to pit him in.
Just advanced.
Oh, we gapped Hamilton by a second. So we're going to have him pit now this lap onto the hard tire. And we're going to let him attack out of the box. And then we're going to have Ocon go onto balance because he's pretty low on the fuel. Alright, where is Ocon? Ocon is in 5th. Hamilton
Let's see what
spun.
happened there. Now, just watch the Mercedes here. They lose
Alright,
it
no
there.
contact, so he's all good to go. Alright, so we're going to go on like 4 times speed here, just kind of observe what's going on here with Ocon. So Ocon's close to Russell. I think we're going to harvest for a minute so we can go on to neutral. We're actually going to let him go on to standard with the tires just to kind of prolong the tires and give us the soft tires later in the race, potentially when we can just do a straight one stop. Or not straight one stop, so we can have better tires at the very end of the race with a lower fuel load. Yeah, so Alonso had his pit stop. He's attacking. We're going to bring him down to aggressive just for a minute. Unless I think we can catch Perez, which I don't. We're far enough ahead of Hamilton to where I'm okay with just being on aggressive. Might have some tires here at the end of the race that we can use. So ERS is fully charged on Ocon. Ocon is now 3.4 seconds behind George Russell. We now have Bottas behind us, but we're going to go deploy just for a little bit to try to gap Bottas. Alright, we're going to go back onto neutral. And go forward again. Alonso has got about a 7-second lead. Alright, this is the optimal pit lap for Ocon. We're going to let him stay out.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
We're going to let him go a couple laps extra so we can just go straight onto the soft tires as we have Perez behind us. We can actually use this as an opportunity to have Alonso. We're going to hold cars behind just for a second, just so we can actually have Alonso catch back up just a little bit here. Go attack, and then we're going to use deploy just for a minute. Alright, that didn't work that as well as I thought it would, so we're just going to pit Ocon in. We're going to go back onto neutral, balanced, and aggressive. And we're going to pit Mr. Esteban onto some brand new soft compound tires. Alright, back at Alonso.
Red Bull moved up.
Alright, where does Ocon come out? Ocon comes out 9th. Where's Russell? Russell's currently 3rd. We had a lockup for... Oh, are you kidding me? It's going to bring Joe right back in. Joe was how many seconds behind?
I think there's been a lockup. Here's the replay. Okay, so there we have the Alpine. Just a bit too heavy on the brakes, and they've locked up.
It's disappointing. Alright, so hopefully that didn't hurt his tires too much. We're going to go back so we can see what's going on with Ocon. So Ocon, we're going to just have him go full out attack, but we're going to have him harvest just for a second, just so we can hopefully jump Mr. Russell, and we have not. So we're going to go back onto standard. We're going to let him harvest. So Alonso in 5th position. Got 13 seconds to Russell behind us. Hamilton's way far back. That might just be down to his spin. We're going to look at the tires here. Alright, so Alonso's in a position. Alright, so his ERS is fully charged. We can go into neutral. Alright, so Alonso's in a position here to where he's pretty safe. But we're not going to be able to gain too much time here on the cars ahead of us. Perez ran wide. Yeah, I don't think we can do too much here with Alonso. Do we just have Ocon run wide as well? Oh, are you kidding me? Why are we making so many mistakes? It's going to let Bottas get right in behind us as well.
Look at that! They've run wide!
Oh, Ocon's really starting to frustrate me. Like we had a great race going. Made two really big mistakes here. Alright, so he's on the soft compounded tires. We're going to see what Russell's doing with his. Russell has more tire than we do, but we're going to go on deploy to hopefully gap Mr. Bottas behind us. Go on deploy, hopefully break that 1 second mark. Really hard to do so. Gonna gain a whole bunch of it back here. Use a whole bunch of it here. About 0.7, 0.8. Alright, we get it within 1 second. We're gonna go on to neutral now. Yeah, we're just holding on to that 1 second, but we barely have enough energy to really use onto the main straight. We're losing time there. Alonso's sitting 5th. He's got 13 seconds to the car behind, so we're gonna let him harvest here. We're gonna lose a bunch of time, but we're actually gonna try for the fastest lap with Alonso. I know that sounds really stupid. Alright, so we're going to go attack, and we're going to harvest with Ocon here. Alright, so his ERS is fully charged. But we're going to let him cool his stuff down, and then we're going to wait until it is lap 62. And he's coming to the final lap. So Ocon has let Bottas into his view here. So Bottas is going to get by. Alright, so we're going to go neutral, and then we're going to let him go attack on the tires.
Recharge off. Copy.
And Alonso is going to come up soon to start his final lap, which we are going to go full push, full fuel, and full deploy to the end. But we're going to micromanage what Ocon does here. And we're going to go on to full overtake now to the end of the race. So hopefully we can get by Bottas here. Need to get on the inside of him. We do not. Ocon, come on, dude. Every time. Last lap battles and we always screw it up. Alright, we're going to see what Alonso can do here. Oops, shit, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, he's going to get on the outside of him here. Please send it, send it, send it, send it. Alright, we get on the inside. We're going to get a good exit here.
Check flight. We had the good car, so we deserve these double points.
Sweet, so we're going to get by.
Everyone.
We are going to go on to deploy. And we're going to finish 5th and 7th place. And we get the fastest lap.
Okay, and that is the checkered flag.
Oh, very nice. All right, good job.
Pick up as well.
What a flawless weekend here from Fernando Alonso. His team must be proud. Great racing
Okay.
from Alpine here today. Some high quality work all round.
I couldn't agree more. It just shows what this team can do when all the pistons are firing.
And after this result, the team is fourth in the constructor standings.
Coming up next, the teams will be taking a trip to the Sunshine State. The Hard Rock Stadium is laying down the track for a captivating race at the Miami Grand Prix.
All right, so these are your results for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. We have Leclerc winning, Sainz second step of the podium. We got Verstappen third. Perez finished fourth. We gained a spot and we finished fifth, but we also got the fastest lap. So that's a bonus point, so that's great. We had Russell finishing ahead of Ocon. That was just a bit of a different strategy there. Ocon wasn't able to kind of latch on with the DRS. We went kind of aggressive at the end. I wanted to have some DRS at the end for Ocon. I know we could hold Bottas outside the DRS zone if we really wanted to, but I felt like we needed the overtake at the end there, and we were able to get him going into the final little chicane. I need to do a little bit better job with the ERS management because, yeah, we need to not be doing that stuff at the end of the race. Bottas finishes 8th. Hamilton drops 4 spots. I think we just ran wide and lost a whole bunch of time there. Gasly finished 10th. Says your final point scorer of the race. You got Zhou, you got Ricardo, Norris, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Schumacher, Vettel, Stroll, Albon, and Latifi rounding out the rest of your field. So the drivers' standings, we have Leclerc top the board now. He moves ahead of his teammate, Carlos Sainz. He's got 2 wins, 3 podiums on the year in 4 races. So that's cool to see all these little stats underneath of each driver. Sainz finishes 2nd with 1 win. We have Verstappen in 3rd, Perez in 4th, Alonso solidly in 5th ahead of Hamilton and Russell, so it's really cool to see. We gained 11 points because we got that fastest lap. That was really cool that we were able to get that bonus point. Ocon moves up 2 spots. He's got a grand total of 9 points, so that's going to help us in the constructors standings. Yeah, you got the 2 Mercedes behind Alonso. You got Bottas, you got Gasly, and then your final person with points for this year in 11th is Zhou Guanyu. Right, so the constructors standings, we have Ferrari top of the board. You got Red Bull in 2nd with the only other team winning this year. You got Mercedes in 3rd. We are closer to Mercedes than we are to Alfa Romeo, so that's pretty cool to see. You got Alfa Romeo in 5th. You got AlphaTauri in 6th, and then McLaren still 7th, no points. Haas, no points. Aston, no points. And Williams, no points. Looking at the driver experience, we get a development point for Ocon, and we also get 1 for Duhan, so that's going to be fun to put one of those on the drivers and continue to develop our young talent. So looking at our financial report, we get a $510,000 bonus to Alonso for finishing 6th or higher. We are going to leave this race with $3.96 million. So finishing off the episode here, we are going to just add the development point to Ocon. His lowest stat is in adaptability or braking. We are going to just put adaptability on, and that will be where his development point goes, and he stays 85. We're going to go to Duhan. His development points, his lowest is smoothness. We're going to add 1 there. He is also going to stay the same rating. So that'll end today's episode. We had another solid result. Seems like we are the team that's just outside the top 3, but we're able to actually compete with Mercedes. Alfa Romeo is kind of being a little bit of a nuisance, but they overall lack kind of the speed to kind of hang on with us. So we did a really, really good job there to kind of nab that fastest lap point, and watch Ocon kind of move up a little bit in the driver's standings. I know we have Alonso that's going to leave the team at the end of the year, but hopefully we can have Ocon kind of come out and be able to compete with Alonso a little bit more. But if you liked today's episode, like, comment, subscribe, all that dumb YouTube stuff, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.